Howdy folks, welcome to my retro mini room, and today I decided I want to take a quick look at some Power Rangers games. To start with, we have Mighty Morphin Power Rangers on the Sega Genesis, and just a quick note, this is not an authentic case, this is a reproduction I got off of Gaming Relics. GamingRelics.com, excellent source for if you want some custom cases for your shelf to preserve the games inside. Now, just to also note, because normally you see the reproduction cases I have, they're clearly reproductions because they're nothing like originals except for the art itself that's reprinted. In this case, the ones that he does off his website for the Sega Genesis games are quite a bit like original because it's the same shell case and everything. But when you look at it in person, though, you can clearly see that the printout is good, high quality, but it's not exactly authentic. But I would never want to pass off something authentic that's not, so I just wanted to note that. Anyway, but the game is authentic, and the booklet. So with this game, and most of these are going to actually, in fact, all these boxes, unfortunately, I've never been able to get a hold of an authentic box for any of these. So these are all going to be reproductions. But yeah, so this game it's actually a really fun game. It's actually a fighting game. It's not a beat 'em up. It's not just a side-scrolling beat 'em up per se, but it does have a story mode. So it's a bit of a hybrid, and it's kind of ahead of its time, really, because fighting games didn't really have a lot of story modes, kind of like we expect nowadays with Mortal Kombat and stuff, with a thorough story mode. So this was a bit of ahead of its time with having a story mode as a plain fighting game. But it's a fun game. It's a pretty solid fighting game. All right, next we've got Power Rangers the movie on Sega Genesis. Now, this reproduction case I got off of eBay off of somebody a long time ago. So this is clearly not an attempt to make it look authentic or anything. This is just a plain universal case with the printout. So no fooling anyone there, that's for sure. But of course, you got a very nice booklet. And I do like these plastic sleeves that I try to get a hold of for putting a lot of these in. And then there's the game, which it's funny because the other one, this is actually something I've noticed with Sega Genesis games real quick. So the labels are not of the same, if you can see closely, the labels tend to have issues with Sega Genesis games. They kind of vary in quality. So like it's somewhat transparent into the black plastic behind it, and it's splotchy looking. Whereas like this one, on the other hand, turned out very glossy, good quality, no transparent. It's not transparent at all. But this one, you can see that even though it is glossy technically, but the colors are kind of washed out looking, or almost blackened out, because it's kind of seeping through. You can see the plastic behind it a little bit. It's not solid. So I just want to note that the Sega Genesis games, as much as I love Sega Genesis, the quality standards were not always the same. Super Nintendo was more consistent, and Nintendo was more consistent in general with their cartridges, in my opinion, especially the stickers. But anyway, just a quick note. I haven't played that. I may not have played this one at all yet, to be honest. If I have played it, I've barely played it. This Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie. So as you can see here, I couldn't even comment enough to confidently how good or bad it is. So this is actually one I'll need to fire up again and remind myself how familiar I am even with it in the first place. But anyway, now. What I did play more, though, is the Super Nintendo version of the movie. It's okay. It's a decent, and these are, and it like the Sega Genesis version, it's a side-scrolling beat 'em up, and it's pretty good. And this is, once again, the shell. See, it's the shell cases for these reproduction Super Nintendo games. And now this is out of all these, this is worth the most. This is the most valuable of the bunch. And I might have even beaten this when I played it, but it's like I said, it's pretty good. It's not like it's no award winner or anything, but it's pretty good. Now these next two that I've featured in a previous video, so Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and Super Nintendo, this game is actually quite good. I've always enjoyed it since I was a kid, and it's got a good, it's got good mechanics, good engine. It's the Zord battles in the end are great. It's fun. I like this game. I've always liked this game. So I recommend all these if you're a true Power Rangers fan. But this is definitely in the top like 3 on the Sega Genesis, the fighting game, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers fighting game, I think is the better of the Sega Genesis ones. And then finally, probably I would say is the best one, is Fighting Edition on Super Nintendo. So this game is a lot of fun, and I've covered it in a previous video too. That this one I definitely recommend anybody who likes fighting games, who wants to have a blast on some, you know, on some old school, play it with your friends. So it's a solid, frantic, fun, over the top fighting game. It's great. I like it a lot. Anyway, this is just a quick one. I just wanted to. Oh, you know what? One more. I almost forgot. So this is the Power Rangers Battle for the Grid Super Edition on Xbox One. Of course, this is on all current platforms. This was to my knowledge, this was the last physical edition of it that came out, and this is actually a really good fighting game. It's got some. It actually had I believe Justin Wong and some other. Chris G, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but at least Justin Wong, some OG Marvel vs. Capcom players that aided in development of this, and you can tell because this game has a lot of Marvel vs. Capcom 3 influence, which is a very good thing. So it's a solid fighting game. It's cool. It's, you know, the combos are open ended. It's fun. It's free. It's kind of more free flowing. It's a little broken, which is not always a bad thing. Actually, it makes it pretty fun. Yeah, it's got a single player stuff to it as well. So it's a solid fighting game. I recommend it to anybody who wants a if you want a non-AAA interesting fighting game that's got fun combos and is fun to play. Power Rangers Battle for the Grid. All right, that's some of my power. Those are my Power Rangers games. If you like Power Rangers, like the video. If you want to see more, let me know. I'll probably do like my Batman games, and I've got all sorts of other series I can break out and we'll take a look at, and as well as movies and TV series. So I'm just kind of making up as I go. All right, appreciate it, you all. Thanks for watching. Hit the bell if you want to get notified of my latest videos, because I'm putting them out pretty regular right now. So have a wonderful day.